lordship's direction were put to place on the desk. Lordship wanted to see the expert report they have brought. It is copy of it. The original is with the person who has brought it. And the experts are also available, my lord, who have been there, my lord, to explain what was the mean which and how they truly mean.
प्लीज कौन है एक्सपर्ट बताइए, एक बार बेसिक समझाइए कि किया क्या है.
I have just seen the report, only first page. But you kindly see the date.
Yes.
1st April 2025. Result declared on 3rd April. This formula was given on 1st April. Next 17 dates created for there. This, as per their record,
it's computerized ना, computerized में तो करना क्या होता है?
24 hours they will prepare the result as
कंप्यूटर करता है ना, मैनुअल थोड़ी करना होता है. मैनुअल नहीं करना होता है ना, it is computerized.
I have not seen the report. What was the requirement? And whether this report says is shift people, is shift people.
वही देख रहा है, वही हमने देखा, वही उनसे समझना है. हमें समझना है, आपको समझने की जरूरत नहीं है. Yes, Mr. Yes.
Explain what has been explained to me. If there is any question,
Yes, बताइए.
what they have done is, my lord, your lordship may have an action. Firstly, your lordship wanted to know as to how the mean has been calculated. The mean has been calculated by, my lord, adding the scores in a particular set, my lord, adding the scores of all candidates and dividing by the number of students. The mean comes. So for every shift, mean has been calculated like this. And thereafter, combined mean, my lord, has been calculated by adding the scores of all the candidates and dividing the total number of candidates. So this is how mean has been calculated.
Combined mean means of all the shifts.
All the shifts, my lord, total candidates appear, their scores having been, because 6 shifts if we add, my lord, these 6 will be added, it will give the addition of but the combined score and divided by total number of students who appear. That is the way mean has been taken. If your lordship will see annexure 1 below.
Yes.
That is with reference to computing difficulty level of the various shifts.
Yes.
Now what they have done, as I have been told below, that this minimum, this is the serial number are with regard to shifts, The exam code is the paper given below to different candidates. Total valid questions in each. Because certain questions were deleted, etc. There would be, instead of 150 in different shifts, the valid questions were like this.
Where are you reading?
Below page 1, page 1, page 3.
Page 3, क्योंकि सफी annexure 1 ही लिखा है.
Sorry, page 3. First page of annexure 1.
Yes, first page. Yes.
These are descriptive statistics, how they done it. Serial number is below shifts 1 to 6. Exam code is the question papers code below given in different shifts. Total valid questions, because there were deletions or additions in some question papers. So total number of valid questions, number of candidates which appeared in each shift, that has been provided. This is minimum and maximum level of difficulty. The level of difficulty has been calculated as I have been told below. This is the minimum. Each question has been below seen from the purpose of as to how many persons have scored correctly in each question and how many have scored incorrectly. They gave below say out of 100 students, 30 have scored correctly and 70 have scored incorrectly.
That means the question is difficult.
In other paper, if 70 have correctly scored and 30 didn't correctly score, then it was found to be easy. Then charts will make it clear below, bottom your lordship will see. Let us have below the difficulty level of next page below.
ठीक है, सारी shifts का difficulty level वो किया है.
हाँ, next देखिए साहब, इसमें थोड़ा सा it will give a glimpse immediately.
Yes.
In shift 1, we will let us see below how many persons scored 90.
Yes.
In shift 190, the 20,000 students, about 20,000 and more students scored 90.
Not 20,000, 50,000 से कुछ, 20,000 से कम.
Yes, 90. Yes. But less than 20, but more than 15,000.
Yes.
In the next, we will see below it is lesser.
Yes. It's less than
Similarly, in third shift, it is much less.
10,000 years.
Yes. But in fourth shift, it is much higher. About nearing to more than 15,000 and between 20,000. In fifth shift, 90 is lesser. In sixth shift, it is much lesser. Similarly, if we come to
So this is how they calculated the difficulty of the
level
paper.
below, and this is average. The mean has been drawn below, and then combined mean has been drawn.
ठीक है. Yes, Mr. Joshi. The thing is, there is कहीं पर ये नहीं है कि because of this formula, someone else has either been benefited or out of the same shifts, some people have been awarded more marks and किसी का कम कर दिया, there has been a reduction. It's not that. पूरा complete parity है, जिसका बड़ा है उस shift में सबका बड़ा है, जिस shift में कम हुआ उसका सबका कम है. RTA में apply करिए ना, आपको मिल जाएगी.
RTA में they refused to kindly see. I have the document. Hence I have shown to your lordship below. It is not that we want to seal anything. If your lordship says, we will very see. One of the candidates has applied and this was answer was given.
Mr. जोशी, आप सिर्फ एक काम करिए, अगर आपको लगता है ना कि फॉर्मूला गलत है, ठीक है, 5 अलग लोगों पे वो फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करके देख लीजिए. If there is a discrepancy, you have remedy. Otherwise, nothing at this stage. It's completely okay. देखिए इसमें. Supplementary petition has been filed. Agreed of. Result dated 3-4 months. Yes. Annexure 6. Agreed of. Result dated 25 bracket annexure 6. Whereby result in persons to the recruitment for annual attendance has been declared. Full stop. Next. The case of the petitioners is that a process of scaling formula has been adopted in the present recruitment, whereas as per the conditions of the advertisement, it was only to be a process of negative marking. And as per the advertisement, 1 mark for each correct question, correct answer, and deduction of 1/4 mark for each incorrect answer was to be made. The advertisement nowhere prescribed what the scaling oblique normalization oblique rationalization method to be adopted. Next, it has further been submitted that the respondent it has further been submitted that the scaling of the raw marks of the candidates have not been declared. Next, thirdly, no cutoff for each category. No cutoff marks for each category have been declared while declaring the result. Next, responding to the above arguments as raised on behalf of the petitioners, it has been submitted on behalf of the respondent department that as more than 17 lakh applications were received in pursuant to advertisement in question, comma, a requirement arose to conduct the examination in different shifts as a written examination for 17 lakh candidates would not have been conducted in one shift. Full stop. As soon as it was decided that the examination was to be conducted in different shifts, comma, it was realized that to maintain a parity, normalization oblique scaling method would be required to be adopted. So therefore, at the set stage itself, wait, notification dated is, where is that? Day 33. Right. Circular dated Punch office. Bracket connection 3. It was notified that the examination would be conducted in different shifts and further the normalization method would be adopted for the recruitment in question. First off, the said amended circular was notified to be a part of the original advertisement. Next, so far as the scaling formula, next is so far as the non-declaration, so far as the ground of non-declaration of raw marks of the candidates is concerned, comma, after the said ground being raised before this court on the first date of hearing, admittedly, the raw marks of the unsuccessful candidates have been declared by the department to stop this by the staff selection board to stop the issue. The said issue, therefore, now is not required to be monitored. Next, so far as the scaling formula as adopted by the State Department is concerned, comma, it has been submitted that the same was recommended by an expert committee which was appointed for the said purpose. First of the consideration of the question papers of all the six shifts. Okay, after a thorough research of thorough consideration of the question papers of all the shifts, computed the difficulty level, and then as per the difficulty level of the set papers of the question papers in all the six shifts, recommended a specific formula to maintain the parity between the candidates appearing in all the shifts and attempting different question papers. First up, Learned AG submitted that there is no ground that it is not the case of the petitioners that the department acted malafide or any corrupt practices had been adopted while applying the formula, applying the scaling formula. Full stop. Council further submitted that the fact that a normalization process would be adopted was very well intimated to the candidates at the first step itself, and now when the candidates participated in the said process without raising any objection to the same at that stage, cannot now, after the result being declared, lay a challenge to the same. Full stop. A further ground has been raised that the courts would not sit in appeal over the recommendations of an expert committee. Full stop. If the report, the recommendation of the committee is not found to be malafide, the courts cannot interfere. Courts should not generally interfere with the same. Next. In support of submissions, Council relied upon the judgments and collecting State versus Atul Kumar Trivedi, Devika Banjara and Gaurav Sharma. Yes, Mr. Joshi, आपका एक judgment था ना? You had cited one. Yes. गौरव शर्मा, देविका बंजारा, एक अतुल कुमार द्विवेदी और एक दीपेंद्र यादव. चारों को ले लीजिए. Yes, आपका एक था ना कोई? अतुल द्विवेदी के पहले का ही था या अतुल द्विवेदी था? अतुल द्विवेदी के पहले का. संजय सिंह, yes, संजय सिंह versus UPSC. उनके उसमें लिख दीजिए. Next. Other councils, perusal record. Next. This court is not inclined to interfere in the present petition for the following reasons. First,
and this argument is also recorded. The copy of the expert committee report was not placed on record, nor copy was given to us.
रजिस्टर को हमने लिखा देंगे लिखे इसमें ताकि काउंसिल इसके बैक में लिख लीजिए नहीं
प्रोड्यूस तो करा देंगे.
After hearing all the councils at length on paper's subjects, the court directed WWG to keep the expert committee report or perusal of this court on the next day, that is today. First of all, the same has been punished to the court for perusal today. First of all, next, the court thoroughly examined the said report and even sought the assistance of the expert who was present before the court who explained the same. Next, counsel for the petitioners raised an objection that the copy of the said expert committee has not been supplied to him. Next, the said objection Next, in the opinion of this court, the same is not required to be done. First, the report had been called by the court to examine and to satisfy itself regarding the formula, scaling formula as adopted, as recommended by the committee and as adopted by the court. First, the petitioners, if desired, to have to obtain a copy of the said report, it is very well open for them to proceed in accordance with law. Next, have the counsels fill in have the counsels fill in the record. Next. This court is not inclined it is going to clear. It is a petition for the following reasons. First, admittedly, the fact that the written examination for the recruitment in question was to be conducted in different shifts, and the adoption of the normalization process was notified, amended, circulated, Panche Chovis, bracket Section 3. Full stop. Meaning thereby, all the incumbents who were who were inclined to participate in the process were aware of the same at that point of time. Full stop. Assumed the said condition would be procedure at that point of time. Full stop. Meaning thereby, none of the candidate was agreed of the said process to be adopted by the respondent department. First of all, as a settled position of law, any candidate who participates in a recruitment process cannot, at the subsequent stage, challenge any condition of the advertisement after having declared unsuccessful or so and so. Next, second. Admittedly, it is not in dispute that more than 17 lakh candidates applied for the post in question, and it is humanly impossible to conduct an examination for that number of students on one particular day or in one shift. Therefore, the decision of the department to conduct the examination in different shifts was the most natural consequence. The issue now is when any examination for a recruitment is conducted in different shifts, what can be the attempt to maintain a parity between the candidates who appear in different shifts and attempt different question papers? It is the most natural consequence of the examination being conducted in different shifts that the question papers can be easy in some shift and tough in some other shift. In those circumstances, a parity definitely has to be maintained between different set of candidates appearing in different shifts. As is the settled position of law, the best method to maintain the parity is adoption of some normalization or scaling conventionalization process. This is what has been done in the present matter. Present matter and rightly so. Next, coming on to the issue whether the scaling formula as adopted by the respondents is correct, or whether some other formula ought to have been adopted, comma. This court is of the clear view that the same is not within the domain of the courts to decide as to which formula would have been better or which formula ought to have been adopted by the respondent department. First term, as held by the Honorable Apex Court in so and so, comma. It is the jurisdiction of the experts to decide on the said issues. First term, the same having been done by an expert committee in the present matter, it does not require any interference by this court. First term. Furthermore, this court has thoroughly gone through the expert committee report and finds it totally justified, wherein a complete consideration of the difficulty standard of the question papers in all shifts has been taken care of. First off, next. In view of next, increase for interference is made of, let petitioners dismissed.
Petitioner okay sir.
पहले लिखिएगा एक सबसे शुरुआत में लिखिएगा at the very inception. Counsel for the petitioner seeks permission to withdraw the petition for petitioner number 4 in view of the submission made, dismiss as withdrawn for petitioner number 4. क्या टाइप?
6.
Yes.
Extend for litigation process.
This is for
क्योंकि matter pertains to recovery.
और हो जाएगा डिसाइड हो जाएगा लॉ सेटल्ड है ये जगह पे जजमेंट्स है वहां पे आप लोग जजमेंट के साथ में करवा दीजिए इसको मेक एन अटेम्प्ट अपने स्टाफ में से अपने ऑफिस में से 2 बच्चों को तैयार करिए who would be attending these matters only मेडिकल रिएम्बर्समेंट के जजमेंट्स पे हम ये कर रहे हैं कि हम पूरा एक सेट बना के भेज रहे हैं मेडिटेशन सेंटर में कि these are the judgments on this point आप लोगों को सिर्फ यही करना है उनको देख के उनको बता दीजिए कि किससे कवर होगा सो दैट द मैटर इज डिसाइडेड पिटीशन को रेफर कर दीजिए Yes. Medical reimbursement petition. Mr. Judgments लिख के जाइएगा साथ में, so that they get decided. Same. Medical reimbursement.
दोस्तों मैं आपको बता देना चाहता हूँ स्टे पूरी तरह से हट चुका है और इसका फाइनल रिजल्ट कुछ ही देर में कुछ दिनों में आ जाएगा।
ये को एक बार पहले डिक्लेयर कीजिए उस बच्चों को बोलिए वो आपको पहले ही आके नोट कर देंगे तो बना ही रहेंगे आपको नोट कर देंगे कौन कौन सा मेडिकल रिइंबर्स ताकि उनको सीधा आगे कर दें।
दोस्तों स्टे हट चुका है पशु परीक्षर से। नेक्स्ट केस की सुनवाई स्टार्ट हो चुकी है। पशु परीक्षर का केस पर से स्टे हट चुका है। दोस्तों पशु परीक्षर भर्ती पर जो स्टे लगा हुआ था वो हट चुका है। अब नेक्स्ट केस की सुनवाई स्टार्ट हो चुकी है। तो लाइसेंस के चलते वैसे ही टाइम हो गया है, अब इसे बंद करते हैं। देख लीजिए आप वैसे भी नेक्स्ट केस की सुनवाई स्टार्ट हो चुकी है।
बुलाइए उनको, देख लीजिए उनको, बोलिए देखिए इसको, ये शायद खत्म हो जाएगा।
हनुमान किसान भाई लाइव आने वाले हैं कुछ ही देर में,
बोलिए ऑर्डर देख
तो आप
लीजिए क्या
उनके
है।
चैनल पर आके एक बार सभी उनका धन्यवाद करें। स्टे होता है दोस्तों, आप उनका धन्यवाद करें कि उन्होंने हमारे साथ मिलकर काफी मेहनत की थी।
कोई डिपार्टमेंट सेक्शन से विषय किया था, वो न्यूयॉर्क कोर्ट में स्टे करना हुआ है। Then in 2023, from that department to another department, the transfer order was passed. And
ये तो खत्म हो गई, सक्सेस हो गई, वो दे दीजिए।
ऑर्डर में भी है। हाँ, वो दूसरी जगह भी